Alright, here we go.
Hold on. I've got a mouthful.
I mean, you did have to wait that entire movie to eat the Twizzlers that you bought.
Right? That's why I'm enjoying them now.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, sitting to my right.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
And once again, in what seems to be the newest segment of the show, I forgot to open the script, so let's do that. Guys, like our nerd news page, Sorta My Comics on Facebook, and follow Sorta My Podcast on Instagram. Check out Subject to Change Entertainment on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube and SoundCloud. You're checking us out on one of those. While here, why not like, comment, and share. Guys, commenting, sharing, I love these things. I love engaging in conversations with you. I love knowing that you guys love this enough to let other people know about it, and that is the best way to help us grow. But, of course, all of our personal social media is down in the description below. James?
Vin?
Some things have changed around here, haven't they?
A lot has changed.
A lot has changed, specifically on my face.
Yeah, it's not there.
All of that promotional material that we have, all of those thumbnails and shit.
You just fucked everything
I just fucked all of it up because, and we did just have the new show, While We're Not Writers, first episode up now, and Sean put together the thing with the Funko Pop versions of me and himself, and I got a full beard, and now I've got a Tom Selleck-esque mustache.
Vin is rocking the porn/pedo stash.
Okay, this is definitely not thin enough for pedo stash. So you gotta take that one back right now.
In this day and age, pedos can have all kinds of looks.
Yeah.
You can say I have a pedo beard.
You have a pedo beard?
We should probably just omit that whole part.
Sorta My Podcast does not support the molestation of children.
Or adults.
Why did I giggle there? That's stupid. Fuck, that's stupid. We're so stupid. Fucking hell. I'm not cutting any of that out either. Just know that we recognize how fucking dumb that was, and we're kind of hating ourselves a little bit. I can see it on your face. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm starting to turn on us.
Yeah. You know what? I think we should eat shit and die.
Yep.
That was pretty bad even for us.
Oh, yeah. That was bad. Anyways, I have heard Mario a lot. Of course, I've heard the porn stash a whole lot. I heard young Tom Selleck. Don't agree with it at all, but I'll take it. I'll sure as hell run with it. I'll use the hell out of it. But one thing I did notice, I was looking in the mirror the other day, and I didn't have my glasses on, and I noticed, and I brought up the picture just so I could, like side by side. I totally look like Daniel Day-Lewis on the cover for There Will Be Blood.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you're going to have to see that. Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Not like you can see my face. But, I mean, I guess if you're on my Instagram's in the description below. But I guess Odle's going to check this out.
Yep.
What have you been up to, though? No big facial hair projects for you?
No big facial hair projects. No big changes, much of anywhere. I've been playing games.
Yeah. Still
haven't been reading comics like I should.
Have you finished Spider-Man yet?
Not yet. Not that this is a spoiler or anything, but I just got to the point where the Sinister Six come together.
Yeah, we've known about the Sinister Six for a while.
Like,
so.
The first big chunk of the game, you're just going around doing shit.
Yeah.
The actual meat and plot of the game start where I'm at now.
I just got to the part where the second time you play is Mary Jane Watson. And again, that's not a spoiler. We've known that she was going to be a playable character for a while. So, not a big deal there. Are you going to...
It's very enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. No, the game is stellar. We've talked at length on one of the episodes about the game. Fun as hell. Only gotten better.
I mean, the more you go through it, and like we talked before, the suits that you discover.
Yeah.
I actually did go ahead and read. It was an article about all the suits that are in the game.
I don't want to hear anything too spoilery because I've got some videos saved to my watch later so I can watch them after I beat the game. So I'm specifically avoiding any surprises.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you all of the suits that are in there. Some of them kind of unexpected. Some of them I can, totally get behind, support. It looks okay. But one of the suits that I really want to unlock is one of the extra suits.
Yeah, like there are 3 extras, right?
Yeah, there's a total of 28 suits.
Yeah.
And 3 of them are like quote unquote hidden.
Yeah. And now this doesn't count the DLC suits that are going to come out and stuff. So this is 28 built into the main game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nothing spectacular. It's not any kind of a spoilery suit. You'll probably be kind of disappointed by it.
Really?
Yeah. It's a regular Spider-Man suit, but it's cel shaded. It's it looks more like animation.
Is this supposed to be for Into the Spider-Verse? That Peter Parker?
I don't know. But it's like the regular Spider-Man suit that you start the game in, except it's got that like more cel shaded animated look to it, which I guess it looks really good when you play the game.
Mm-hmm. Unlike the Batman animated series costume for, I think it was Arkham City.
Yeah.
I was so excited about that, but then when you actually play with that suit, God, it looks fucking ridiculous.
Well, I guess there's a lot of contrast between the suit and the game when you play, because you have that more realistic look of the world, and then this very, like, almost like it jumped off the page of a comic.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I haven't seen it yet, and I won't until I unlock it, but I'm sure this is probably playing on Into the Spider-Verse, because they're advertising that hard. Yeah. And Into the Spider-Verse, as we've seen from the new trailer, which we're going to talk about later, it mixes looks and genres. Spider-Ham, who's in this new trailer, he is 100% like cartoony, and you can see differences in Spider-Man Noir and all of that. So yeah,
I mean, even Spider-Gwen has.
I think hers are more subtle. Yeah, but we're going to talk about that later. Right now, we are going to jump into trailers, but the first trailer we're going to talk about is X-Men, the next one. Dark Phoenix trailer finally came out, I guess. And how do you feel about this, man? Like, honestly. How much do you remember about Apocalypse?
Not enough.
Right? Like, I remember enough about Psylocke. Yeah. I kind of remember the final battle only because you see the first glimpses of the Phoenix, and then Charles loses his hair and stuff. So.
Like, I remember that stuff. I remember a lot of the stuff with Quicksilver. Especially his part in that final fight,
where he saves all the kids in the school.
He saves all the kids when the school's blowing
up. I know that Jubilee was there.
She was not really much of a part of that movie.
I think you remember more about this than I thought.
I remember more about it than I thought. I mean, I do vividly remember when Angel got the metal wings. That part was cool.
I don't remember that at all.
It was in some kind of a fucking warehouse or something. I don't know. Yeah. But it was cool. I do remember that. Yeah. But that's about it.
I can barely remember First Class.
You know what? I actually remember a good bit about First Class.
I think you're more invested in these than I am.
I think I am too. That's weird.
We're learning things about Odle here today. Right? The Spectre's got a thing for the X-Men movies.
I mean, these ones, I have enjoyed them. It's granted, the first 3 we got, they kind of ended on a shitty note with Last Stand and not really doing much with what they had. Yeah. Which seems to be a trend in the third movie of these first franchises. They just drop the ball.
Yeah, these early Marvel attempts and stuff. Yeah, not even 3. Really so much Marvel attempts, but the variety of studios who owned Marvel properties attempts.
Yeah. But this one, I feel like it's going to lead us into a good spot. Obviously the actress that plays Jean Grey, I feel like she's been doing a good job, and she looks like she could play this really well, especially.
I don't know, man.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, of course I watch.
I feel like she's capable of doing that. Like
she's
that
capable
switch.
of more than what I'm seeing in this trailer, at least, because there are moments when she's crying in this trailer. There are moments when she's supposed to be angry, and I couldn't tell you the difference between any of the expressions during these scenes. It all looks like the same look.
It's almost like Kristen Stewart.
The difference is the tears. You see tears. And I think when she gets angry, her nose crinkles a little bit. Oh, shit, guys. She just got like 2 crinkles. If she goes 3, we're fucked. Let's talk a little bit about the source material of this trailer, the meat and bits. It looks like Jean may have killed her own parents. So that's a pretty interesting element.
Later in the trailer, we see some of the X-Men around a grave.
Yeah, who do you think is in that grave?
I think it's Cyclops.
Really? Wait, what? No, he was at... Didn't they flash to him with an umbrella?
Did they?
At the funeral? I think they
remember.
Did. There's a lot going on in that trailer.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Cyclops. Maybe. But they'd just be copying Last Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So,
they have a habit of this shit.
So that would bring the movie down even more in my estimation. Because it's not that I hate these movies. I've gone and seen every single one in theaters, and I really enjoyed Days of Future Past. Mm-hmm. But the other ones are just so forgettable. Like, I feel like they're... I don't know, they just don't have enough substance for me, which is not what you want from an X-Men movie, because the X-Men are dynamic, they're outstanding, they're interesting and intricate, and they have this really
they're
uncanny.
One thing that I noticed this time around watching it was it appears that we get Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
because we had who was it, Azrael?
Yeah. No, Azrael's a Batman thing, isn't he?
No, Azazel. Yeah. He was able to do the BAMF thing.
Yeah, from First Class, right?
Yeah. But we haven't had Nightcrawler.
I don't think we have either. It may be another thing I forgot from
it might be
from Apocalypse, but as far as my recollection, I've not seen Nightcrawler since The Last Stand, so...
No. I think he was in Apocalypse.
Was he in Apocalypse?
Shit, now I gotta look it up.
Okay, well, you're looking that up. I do want to talk about the one thing I liked from this trailer, and that was the exchange between Charles and Magneto, where Charles says, "I'm sorry," and Magneto says, "You're always sorry, Charles," and there's always a speech, and no one cares. I loved that. That was like, fuck you, Charles. Like, I don't know why.
That is a perfect dynamic between the two of them.
I love Patrick Stewart, Professor X, and I dig not Patrick Stewart, but Professor X in the comic books. But man, there really is just something unlikable about James McAvoy's Charles Xavier. Like, something I just cannot latch on to. And maybe it's because of his youth, comparatively, because when you see Patrick Stewart in that role, there's this definite father figure aura to him, something you can latch on to that feels comfortable and safe. But this guy, I've seen him lead fucking teenagers and all these like young impressionable mutants into shit, and he's constantly wrong, and he's constantly pretending like he knows better than everyone else. And just hearing Magneto say that to him, I was like, yeah, fuck you, Charles. Yo, fucking speech-making bitch. Just shut it down. Shut your bullshit down. I almost want the Brotherhood of Mutants to win. Like, you know what? House M all the way. Although I don't think... Was House of M mutant related? I'm not aware of what that Marvel event was about.
I'm not either.
I know Spider-Man had a suit. And I only know that because we saw it today at the comic book store. We saw a figure with it.
Yeah.
Are you giving up on this like you gave up on looking up the Tom Selleck thing? No. Oh, is he? Oh, he is in... Okay.
He was in Apocalypse.
Nightcrawler was in Apocalypse.
I guess I don't remember as much about it as I thought.
Totally fucking forgot. I do have a little bit of side news here, unless you have anything else to bring up about the trailer.
Nope.
Okay, a little bit of side news tied into this. Simon Kinberg, writer and director of this movie, Dark Phoenix, confirmed in an interview with IGN that despite the Fox and Disney deal going down, Fox is still moving ahead with their X-Men spin-offs. The Multiple Man movie they got announced, Gambit, which they've been trying to get off the ground for 7 decades, and X-Force.
I thought that was supposed to come out this year.
Oh no, they pushed it back again. Pretty much every 6 months, just assume there's going to be Gambit news, and it's going to be them pushing it back. So
That's fair.
And then X-Force, they still entirely intend on moving ahead with their X-Men properties while they got them.
But it's all going to get ripped away from them.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's, like, no point other than to cash in. Like, let's see what little money we can pull out of this shit. And you know what that means? You know what that means? Is because they have such a small window to do these 3 films. That means they're going to rush them out. They're going to be fucking garbage. But everyone's going to go see them, especially Gambit. We've waited so fucking long for that one. Everyone's going to go see them. They're going to be trash. And that's going to kind of be fucking Fox going like, good luck, Disney. We burned that bridge. Let's talk about something that is actually pretty exciting. Pretty funny little Harley Quinn animated teaser showed up at New York Comic Con this year, along with the announcement that Kaylee Cuoco, Penny from The Big Bang Theory, is going to be voicing Harley Quinn in the series. Yeah. And at first, when this teaser hit, I was like, oh shit, no, that's just straight Penny. But the more you get into it, like the more she embodies the character, and she has that hint of the Brooklyn accent, but she doesn't lean full force into it like pretty much everyone else has, which is an interesting move. What do you think about that? Is Harley Quinn without the accent?
I think it can be. Obviously there is a tone and an accent and everything that we have come to be used to.
An attitude, really.
Yeah. But there again, if she can nail the attitude of Harley, you don't need that heavy Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's still there, but it's not like New York.
That was god-awful. Don't do that one again. You know what that train is? That train's here to take away that fucking accent.
Well, unfortunately, there's no loading station near here, so...
we'll figure it out. No, I agree with you, though. And what we saw in this little teaser, I think she did. She kind of embodied her.
Yeah.
Like, the sporadic attitude that is Harley Quinn. God, that fucking train is louder than usual, isn't it?
Right?
Doesn't that feel louder? Holy shit. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, tell us what you think. Do you think that train's louder?
Tell us in the comments down below. Poison Ivy, though, they take quite a few shots in this in this whole thing. Poison Ivy taking the first one at the fans, which I loved, pointing out that they do fucking hate everything. And guys, we're going to talk about something I was very disappointed in later. But even then, I found something to love. So, like, chill the fuck out. The second one, they take a shot at the Deadpool cartoon. Probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Because really, that was their only competition in this show. Like, out of, like, comic book-based adult animated series, who else was going to stand toe-to-toe with Harley Quinn? Deadpool. Now that's not happening. Oh, yeah.
And we see how well that went.
We saw that. The last thing, they take a shot at themselves.
Yeah.
About the whole dark, grim DC universe and shit. And I love Harley's little side. That is a great way to do TV and movies. But that's not going to be this. Promises comedy, gratuitous violence, and that we will piss ourselves. So I'm going to be waiting for that. Probably invest in some Depends. Because DC has been delivering on some promises when it comes to everything but their DCEU movies and or worlds of DC.
And mustaches.
And mustaches. And finally, do you know the voice of Batman?
No.
In that little teaser? That was motherfucking Diedrich Bader. And doesn't sound familiar?
No.
Okay, there are a variety of things, and I think people listening, Bob would definitely know where I'm going with this. He would have already blurted it out. You may recognize him from the Drew Carey Show. He played Oswald.
Oh, no shit!
Yeah, he was Oswald. He was also in Office Space. He was the neighbor. But he was the voice of Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and that was him in this, and I've already checked his IMDb. He is billed as Batman in the Harley Quinn animated series, so yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Diedrich Bader reprising his role.
I mean, it would have had to either been him or Kevin Conroy.
I don't know if it has to be. There's enough players.
Be.
There's enough players on the board.
It has to be.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Not these days.
It has to be.
That was pathetic, but that's what I think about your subject for that.
My subject to change attitude.
Your subject to change attitude. Sure. I can't think of a better topic to lead us into the Bumblebee.
You can't think of a better way to change the subject?
I can't. Speaking of changing, we got another trailer for Bumblebee. See, that would have been a really good transition if I hadn't stumbled into it like head first.
So we're going to transform the subject from animated into live action real quick.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. Yeah, we got a new Bumblebee trailer, guys. Looks fantastic.
It does.
Even more exciting than the last one. The last one gave me hope more than it did excite me. This one excited me.
You know why?
Why?
Because motherfucking Soundwave.
Because motherfucking Soundwave and toy/show accurate Optimus Prime.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then fuck me if I can never remember the goddamn transforming Panther's name that pops out of Soundwave. But
I don't know.
Yeah, but that was there too. Remember. And it popped right out of his cassette tape chest.
Here's what kind of gets me about this though. I'm excited for it. I've been excited for all of the Transformers movies, even though they haven't really all been great.
Odle, don't let them know how dumb you are on mic.
I am going to appreciate pieces of my childhood brought to the big screen. I said I was excited for all of them. I didn't say I enjoyed the shit out of every single one of them.
Here's the thing, though. They didn't bring any of your childhood to the big screen, aside from some names, and they totally fucked those up.
They broke the original voice actor for Optimus Prime. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But no.
Sure.
One of the issues that I have with this is they are on the Autobot home planet, right?
Yes. No, there are scenes on Cybertron. It looks like we're going to spend a little time there during the wars and shit.
But here's my issue. They all had to come to Earth to get the disguises as the semi-truck, the cassette tape, or the stereo,
no.
jet.
There's they get their forms. You're thinking of more of the movie lore, where they can come to Earth and scan something and then turn into it. They're on Cybertron, they can get scanned, and the scanning thing, I don't know what it's called, will assign them a form based on their how they're built, and that's why some that's why some can do triple changes. We saw 2 triple changers there. They go from plane to car to their Autobot form, Autobot or Decepticon. I don't know which designation these 2 fall under. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. It has been a long time since I watched the cartoon.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be Decepticons because they
seem to be looking for
Bumblebee.
Yeah, they're hunting Bumblebee for sure. Oh man, there's that one part in the trailer. I loved this because I like John Cena, both in the wrestling world and pretty much as an actor.
I have enjoyed him as an actor and everything I've seen him in.
And there's this part where he throws down the girl, whatever the fuck her name
Yeah.
And Bumblebee gets pissed. And we see a showdown shot of like Bumblebee and John Cena, and it looks like John Cena's about to fist fight this fucking Transformer. And I want to see that go down.
Like, yeah, because he throws her down, and then she's like, "B, fight back."
Yeah.
And he goes like...
Well, she's telling him to fight back, and he's like still getting dragged away, and then he throws her down.
Puts his hands down.
Oh, yeah.
Changes, stands up, and he's going to fuck some shit up.
Oh, he's about to ruin John Cena's day. The champ is there.
Like...
that was a really bad wrestling joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bad. God, we're on fire for this episode, aren't we?
We probably should just set ourselves on fire. At least we'd be more lit that way.
Oh, nice. That ought to bring in the young crowd. Moving on to the young crowd, we're talking Miles Morales here in the new Into the Spiderverse trailer. This one, this movie has looked better and better with each bit of everything that has come out.
And I've been starting to get a bit of a soft spot for Miles Morales again. Like, I was reading his Spider-Man run when Marvel did their All New, All Different. And it was great. I had to drop it for financial reasons, never picked it back up.
Well, for me, it stagnated. It got, it was in this time, for a while there, like, every Marvel book was like heavy and depressing, and I was reading Amazing Spider-Man because it was really great. Dan Slott, right? And a son of a bitch. But at the same time, there was a lot of shit going wrong for Peter, so that was already the depressing Spider-Man book, kind of. And so I went over to Miles Morales for the fun, and it was for a while, and then they started writing it a lot like Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, this is not what I'm here for. Like, I don't care about this family drama.
I mean, between that, what we're getting of him in the Spider-Man game, and then now with Into the Spider-Verse, I'm excited.
They are leaning heavy on Miles, and I dig it.
Well, and the thing is, I can understand that because he is a part of the MCU.
Yeah.
He has been officially confirmed. He is a part of the MCU.
Yeah, by mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, once you become a mention in the MCU, you are a part of the MCU. Like, he may not have an actor cast or anything like that, but he is officially there. And they also went as far to say that Peter's friend, the fat Asian kid, I can't think of his name.
Not Ganke.
No, but
that's what we call. But he is Ned. Yeah.
Yeah, that is essentially Ganke.
Yeah.
But that, or not essentially, they've said that's who that is.
Yeah.
So, all of the elements are there, but now we actually have something focusing on it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not MCU, or would this be MCU with it?
With it being a cross-dimensional film, I don't see why it couldn't be ceremoniously considered part of it. But I don't see, like, it crossing over. I don't see Miles Morales coming out of a portal in Avengers 5 or something.
No.
So,
like, that's going to be one of those things that they probably lead into with the films if they go somewhere like that.
Now, speaking of this Into the Spider-Verse being plugged into films, did you notice a lot of familiar scenes in the first part of this trailer? Yeah, specifically of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Mm-hmm. And we do know that this mentor, Peter Parker, he comes from another dimension.
He comes, from what I'm gathering, the Miles Morales universe is the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, because we did, I don't want to spoil that. We did see a little bit more of the movie.
Now, in the trailer, we see Ultimate Green Goblin, we see Ultimate Scorpion, we see all those villains.
But we never had it necessarily confirmed, is this Peter Parker from Miles Morales' universe? Is this Peter Parker from a different universe? And this trailer gives us that answer. He comes from a different universe. So this could very well be a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Who is Tobey Maguire voicing him?
No.
That would have been great.
That would have been great.
Like,
that doesn't mean that it can't be. That's
right.
Because all the scenes from his universe are straight from the Sam Raimi films.
save the day again with the car.
Yeah,
like
the car
all
and the train and
the car coming through the window, and like there were a couple others in that little like montage right there that were from the first few films.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but that's also not a part of the MCU.
No, yeah, it's a different. Technically, it's a different cinematic universe,
and so is the Andrew Garfield one.
So I mean,
all of these different Spider-Man, and then getting this into the Spiderverse. Yeah. They even referenced the shitty Spider-Man popsicles.
They did,
which are in real life here.
But to further expand on your mention of all these Spider-Man, this trailer also shows us a variety of the different Spider-Men that are going to be in this movie. We've already talked about Gwen Stacy, who comes from another universe also. We got to see Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nick Cage, which I can't wait for.
I think that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we got Penny Parker, a.k.a. SP//DR, or Spider, who I do have a little info. I dug into this. She debuted in 2014's Edge of the Spider-Verse comic. Yeah, she was a part of that event, so that's where she came from. And then the comic relief Spider-Ham, probably the best thing about this trailer.
I enjoyed the first trailer and everything that we got.
Yeah. Everything's been
this
good.
Trailer, it completely and totally hooked me for this movie with Spider-Ham.
Yeah.
I don't have any comics of Spider-Ham that I know of, but I have always enjoyed the idea of this character in all these different universes, that there is a pig Spider-Man and
Peter Porker.
The clip, or like the scene where they're all up on the ceiling,
yeah,
and they're moving back and forth, and someone's like sitting in that computer chair.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid this person's gaze.
That person sees them, and Spider-Ham's the first one to speak. I was like, does this dimension have talking animals? Because I don't want to freak him out.
Yeah.
As if, 6 spider people on the ceiling wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
One of them's a talking fucking pig. I think this is going to have so many great elements. It's going to have that.
Well, the villains, you mentioned them earlier. God, they look so great.
That, awesome. The one that we've seen, there's Prowler. I am fairly certain that's Prowler on that motorcycle.
We got to see Prowler. We got to see Scorpion. That's the Lizard. Pretty sure that's the Lizard, the big green monster one. Like, I wouldn't.
No, the big green the flying one.
Yeah.
No, that's Ultimate Green Goblin.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like in the Ultimate Universe, Green Goblin is a literal beast.
We've got Wilson Fisk in here. So we may be seeing the Ultimate Sinister Six in this, but yeah, this looks great. They've already had me sold. They've got all my money. I cannot wait to go see this thing. I'm in. Yeah. I'm definitely in.
This is something that I will probably try to take Abby to go see.
Yeah, this is going to be great for kids too. Fantastic for kids. This is fun for the whole family. The whole Marvel family.
So, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I'm very excited for, because you know how much I love me some Star Wars. We're going to move on from trailers into the news, and we got a few first looks here. First thing we're going to take a look at, we've got a title and a first look image and a synopsis and a list of some directors that are going to be a part of the very first ever Star Wars live action series, which executive producer Jon Favreau posted images for on his Instagram recently. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these up now. Take a look at that. This is our main character of the series. It looks fan-fucking-tastic. Looks really good. What do you think he is? Let's set the scene here. We see a guy in Mandalorian armor, kind of a rust red, a little bit of a grayish blue cape, under armor and all that stuff. Walking down what looks like somewhat of a market and or residential street. What could be, I don't know, maybe Tatooine. It could easily be Tatooine.
That does kind of have that vibe to it.
Yeah. What do you think's going on here?
I don't know. That could just be him walking around the set and someone snapped a photo.
Well, like I mentioned, we do have a synopsis. I'm going to go ahead and read that off for you now. The synopsis for The Mandarin is that after the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travels of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. So he could very well be a gun for hire. Yeah. We know for a while that they've been wanting to do a seedy underbelly of the Star Wars universe, possibly a bounty hunter-driven show.
Absolutely be their end for that.
Yeah. Some of the series directors, though, like I mentioned, we got a list of some of them. The three most prolific are Dave Filoni. As I pointed out on the show before, he's been the guy in charge of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he's in charge of Star Wars Resistance coming up, Star Wars Rebels. And a name anyone listening to the show should be familiar with, Taika Waititi is going to be directing at least one episode of this. Are you kidding me with it? Like, you don't know this name, Odle?
No, I recognize the name.
You recognize it, but
I can't place it.
Black Panther. Black Panther director.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. I done fucked up now. Thor Ragnarok. And he also played the voice of Korg in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm down.
There's a lot of good going into this. I know people are getting burnt out on Star Wars and stuff. Well, they can go fuck themselves because this is going to be awesome. Another thing now, we got to look at.
While we're out in the reaches of the galaxy, let's take a stop here at Krypton.
Oh, yeah.
And,
we're going to stop by Krypton, specifically Season 2 on the Sci-Fi Network, and take a look at the first image of Lobo, who will be appearing in the series in that season.
Which, I'm a little disappointed that it's not one of two people.
Really?
It either should have been Jason Momoa.
Okay, yeah.
Or Rob Zombie.
What about Ron Perlman?
No.
No, really?
Oh, wow. I don't... Looking at Ron Perlman and then trying to envision him with the wild hair and the dreads and the biker look and everything else that's going on, I just can't picture that on him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, we did get this first image of our main man, Emmett J. Scanlon, who's going to be playing Lobo in the second season of Sci-Fi's Krypton. And what do you think of this? I think it's perfect.
It's great.
We got the chain going up the arm. We got the red eyes. The makeup's on point. The hair is on point. The costume is on point.
Everything about this. The only thing that they could have done would have been take this and put it on a guy about twice that size.
I don't know. I mean, this is just an image, so we don't know his stature stacked against some of the other characters in the show.
That's true.
So
he could be big and beefy.
Yeah, you come across that in professional wrestling a lot of times. You'll see these guys and you see them interacting with each other, and you see some are obviously bigger than others, and so you get it in your head that these others are probably around your size, but then you see them in real life and they're fucking towering over you. So this may be just one of those things where it's just a single image of him by himself. We don't know how he stacks up. And he's more than likely going to have some lifts in his boots. I mean,
Lobo has platform boots.
Yeah, so...
I want to see the bike.
Yes. Yeah. Where is the bike?
The bike.
Hashtag where's the bike? that should be it. Moving on from there, though, we also got another first look at a very anticipated character. Brendan Fraser took to the stage at New York Comic Con to show off the first official look at his character from Doom Patrol, Robotman. However, there were some leaked set photos which I came across. But before we get to those, let's go ahead and look at the photo that was released from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. We got the one photo that's been making the rounds ever since it was announced that Robotman would be in the series. is of a robot man on the subway next to the costume that's going to appear in the show. So just from this image, what are you thinking?
I think it looks great.
I think it looks perfect. I think it looks goofy, but not in a bad way. Like,
right. It looks like it should.
And the Doom Patrol has been notoriously called the world's oddest superhero team. Yeah. So, like, the fact that it stands out that much and is that weird is just perfect. And it looks incredibly comic accurate, which you can see from these set photos that leaked a while back. First, just to prove that it is Brendan Fraser in the costume, I found this photo with his mask off. So we do have that confirmed. He is playing the character. A lot of people were thinking he was just going to play the voice, and it was going to be CG and all that. No, that is not the case.
Full practical.
Because we see this shot here, full practical costume.
On set.
It looks great. This is full body, too. So, like, nothing is hidden. We got boots. We got the rips. I love the detail with the rips in his jeans and the robot knees and shit. Yeah. He looks fantastic.
They did a good job with this one.
Yeah, it just gives me way more hope for the show, which I was already pretty into the idea of. Especially because I'm not too well versed on Doom Patrol myself. So
I'm not quite as much. I feel like Bobb would probably be the best one.
Yeah, I feel like he would know more.
Grant Morrison did a big run on Doom Patrol, so I feel like Bobb would be the one, if anyone, to have read that. No. There was an original run in the 60s. Grant Morrison had the run in the 80s. Yeah.
Moving on from there, though, we're going to go ahead and talk about our first look at the Aquaman suit, which director James Wan unveiled at New York City Comic-Con with a 5-minute extended trailer. We decided not to talk about this trailer at length, but we have both seen it. What are your feelings? Quick little thing on that.
As far as the trailer goes, I could have went without the first extended scene.
Yeah.
Being extended, like, give us that little bit, some of the imagery and all that. The chase, I felt like the rooftop chase was a good one to include.
I think it's fine, but see, me personally, I could have done without this entirely.
Without the extended trailer?
Yeah, they already had my money. I was already excited. They had done a real good job of putting this one together.
Yeah.
And this trailer cemented that. I didn't hate it. I loved it. I had a good time watching it. I got to see a lot more stuff. I'm way more secure with this movie now than I was with the last trailer, which I enjoyed too. But this is just unnecessary.
Yeah.
You didn't need it.
This trailer, I feel like, does a good job at showing us the character development that he is going to go through in this movie. Especially if it kind of goes chronologically from beginning to end of trailer to beginning to end of movie.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see him mature a lot.
Yeah, and we also got to see a little bit more of Mara's Aquamancy.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, Aquamancy.
Yeah.
I loved that.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
But as far as the costume goes, fucking love it.
Oh yeah, let's take another look at this son of a bitch right now. Right there. Fuck, that is amazing. From the fins on the boots, the gauntlets, the comic accurate trident, the colors,
everything.
The Aquaman symbol on the belt. It is everything but his hair. Perfect. But still,
in newer continuities, he has the longer hair.
Well, he does have the longer hair, but he's fucking blonde. He's always been blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave him blonde tips. What the fuck ever. I get it. But that being said, that is really my only gripe with this movie so far. And I will argue this. Maybe it wasn't technically unnecessary for everyone that this extended thing came out. Because, these movies have a bad rap now.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what they were trying to do with this. Is be like, here are some actual full, mostly full-size scenes from the movie, showing different...
Naysayers, take 5 fucking minutes out of your day, check this video out. If this doesn't get you in the seats, whatever. Okay, we can't help it then. It was really to lull people in.
Yeah.
So everything looks good on this, though. I can't wait. I had even just put in... a bunch of Marvel Legends figures for Vin, and some Justice League figures for Vin into layaway for Christmas. And I skipped over the Aquaman ones. They had them out. They had the Black Manta. They had this suit. And I skipped over them. And now, after seeing that video, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put those in. He doesn't have an Aquaman, so let's do that. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Can't wait to go see this one. But that is going to go ahead and lead us in to the phone booth.
It's time for the news, the phone booth news.
Shit, where's my phone booth? Script. You got your timer up? Did you get your timer up? No, let me reset the timer. Now you're ready to go. Okay, guys, that means it's time for the phone booth news, where we try to give you the news faster than Deadpool can save the day, which gives us 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Odle has his timer up. Hold on. Get rid of some of the spit here. Wait, hold on. Wet the whistle a little bit. Get rid of the spit, wet the whistle, get some more spit. Make some more spit. Get rid of that. Alright. Whenever you're ready, go. In video game news, Telltale Games is sadly closing down, but may be able to finish The Walking Dead Season 4 due to interest from potential parties. Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series that is a 3-part series for the Oculus Quest, was announced and will debut in 2019. Bethesda announced the beta for Fallout 76 will go live on Xbox One on Tuesday, October 23rd, and on PlayStation 4 and PC, Tuesday, October 30th. Minecraft Dungeons has been announced for PC in 2019, and the mysterious Pokemon that's been appearing in Pokemon Go has been revealed as a brand new mythical Pokemon named Melton, a Steel-type Hexnut Pokemon. Meeting Melton in the mobile game will serve as a key to getting it in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. In comics news, Dark Horse Comics announced plans for a Minecraft graphic novel set for release summer 2019. Brian Michael Bendis has teased a DC Rebirth debut of The Question for Action Comics number 1005. The sequel to Batman White Knight, Curse of the White Knight, has been announced for some time in 2019 under the DC Black label. In TV news, the CW's Arrowverse crossover finally has a title. The 3-night event will be called Elseworlds. Jeff Johns announced that Deathstroke and his son Jericho in time will appear on DC Universe's Titans, which has been renewed for a second season ahead of the October 12th series premiere.
That's good news.
Netflix announced plans for a Chronicle of Narnia series and possibly films. And new cast details released by the streaming service list actor Wilson Bethel as playing Benjamin Poindexter in the upcoming 3rd season of Daredevil, confirming Bullseye as a villain for the show. In movie news, Sean Gunn told Tulsa World that Disney has every intention on using James Gunn's script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, while Bradley Cooper, in an interview with Joe, has shut down rumors that he may direct the 3rd film. Birds of Prey received a release date of 2020, as well as 3 casting announcements. Mary Elizabeth Winstead will play Huntress, Journey Solomon Bell has been picked to play Black Canary, and Rosie Perez will be portraying Gotham City detective Renee Montoya. A live-action Mega Man film was announced to be produced by Capcom, while Disney has taken their live-action remakes one step too far by announcing plans for a live-action Lilo and Stitch. In other news, The Room's Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero have recreated the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. Check it out now on thenerdist.com or on their YouTube channel, and that is the news.
Twice in a row, you nailed it with about a minute to spare.
There we go. I think that was my best one. I only fucked up once, and I laughed when you chimed in. Yeah. I don't have to laugh as a fuck up because I hit the ground running.
You did. I'm proud of you.
Anything you want to talk about from there real quick? Just a real quick rapid fire.
Really surprised to see Titans get a second season before the first one comes out.
Yeah, before the first episode has even hit.
Almost never happens.
Yeah, no, it never happens.
I mean,
it's a little.
I have never heard.
It's
of
a little cocky.
But I mean, the thing is, they can do that. It's their streaming service. It's their property.
I even saw the video where this got announced at New York Comic Con. It seemed like it was almost announced by accident or begrudgingly went into. Some of the actors were surprised. And even, who was it? Jeff Johns was the one who announced it. He even was like, I think that's news for some of the people on the stage too. So congratulations, guys. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I mean, if you take a step back and think about it for a second, why the fuck not?
Right? I don't know
if you have something good on your hands.
I don't know if WB is tied to this at all. I think this is all just DC driven. And yeah, you're right. They could do whatever the fuck they want. They're like, hey guys, we've been greenlit for the 5th season. We're not going to do the 3rd and 4th though. We're just going to jump ahead 2 years.
They could pull a Rick and Morty. It's like, you know what? We're going to renew for 10 seasons.
Yeah, 7 seasons. Come on. They were renewed for 7.
They were renewed for 7, but it'll put them up to 10 seasons. So guys, we're going to renew up to the 10th season. There you go.
A lot of cool news in there, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, just everything we mentioned except for the Lilo and Stitch thing.
Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah, fuck that. We don't need it.
I'll watch it when it goes on Netflix.
I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it then. I've been on board for every live action remake they've announced too, and this is the first one where I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that.
I just want to know
like
how
not
they're
even
do the aliens.
CG, you know how they're gonna do it. Unfortunately, though, guys, that leads us into the somber part of our episode. Every now and again, a legend is born and brought into this world, but before they can become that legend, they have to pass through this mortal coil and become our fallen heroes. And our fallen hero today, we pay homage to the famed producer of A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, Gary Kurtz. Kurtz got his start as an assistant director on Monty Hellman's Ride in the Whirlwind, a low-budget 1966 Western starring a then-unknown Jack Nicholson. During the decade, he served as a production manager and assistant director on a number of genre films before leaving Hollywood from 1966 to 1969 to serve in the Marines during the Vietnam War. He would then go on to work with George Lucas on American Graffiti, the Star Wars films, and help produce other classics like The Dark Crystal and Return to Oz. Gary Kurtz passed away from cancer at the age of 78. So we lost a legend there. We owe him a huge bucket of thanks because he was a crucial part in making Empire Strikes Back, from what I know, the well-shaped movie it was. Arguably the best of the franchise. In my book, it is. And so, personally, I love Gary Kurtz for that, and we sadly mourn his passing. But we are also here to sadly mourn another thing, and that is the Venom movie.
Guys, we're not doing a comic book this week because Vin and myself went to see Venom.
Yeah,
actually, this afternoon.
We opted for a movie review over a comic book review, mostly because we're both having trouble reading our comics. Actually, no, every time we say, this is the comic we're going to do, we put that ahead, and we always get to it. So it's not so much a problem of getting to read comics, it's just that we didn't really think to pick one, and then we were going to see this movie anyways.
Yeah, and we try to do movie reviews. In the past few, I've had to miss out on.
Well, and I don't want to do them by myself as single episodes anymore. That's why you haven't seen any.
Well, and I feel like if any one of us were to do a movie review or something like that by ourselves, we are presenting a very biased review.
Yeah, there's no back and forth or anything.
With the two of us, Vin and I are usually on contrasting ends of the spectrum when it comes to a lot of films. we're both able to point out good and bad to each other to kind of bring our levels closer to each other.
Now, we will go ahead and say this. This is not a spoiler warning right now. We are going to do spoiler-free. When we get to the spoiler warning, we're going to give you a well enough chance to jump ahead. There are time codes down in the description if you want to skip and get to the end of the spoiler discussion. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the movie as best we can without spoilers first.
Venom's an alien.
Vims?
Venom.
Oh, I thought you said Vims, and I was like, it's a
Venom's an alien.
Okay. Moving on from that derailment. Did you hear that sound? Because it should have been louder than what we were hearing earlier. Hey, that train just went right off the track.
There's no train out there. We must have derailed.
Yeah, good one. Fuck, you're way better at this than me today. I'm nailing phone booth news, but failing at the fucking other things I'm usually good at.
All the little quips and everything have been over in my
yeah, they've been over on your side of the table today. Yeah, guys, we saw Venom. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about characters? Let's talk about characters.
Let's talk about characters, which is arguably the best part of the movie.
Arguably.
I mean,
let's talk about Eddie Brock first. Eddie Brock, I think, is where we
arguably
agree.
The best part of the movie.
Yeah, definitely a favorite character.
Yeah,
I think he's bipolarly comedic. Like, there are some moments where, like, the bulk of the film, he portrays this personality that makes it really stand out when he's being funny, and when what I mean by that is, like, okay, like when he's in the hospital the first time and stuff's going down and he's asking the questions and stuff, and that's fine. The second time you see him in there, he's that guy, and then every now and again he'll irk into like a type joke. I can't quote anything because as you guys will find out, I think this is going to be ultimately a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
I think down the road, you ask me 6 months later what happened in this film, I'm probably not going to be able to tell you specifics. But yeah, I feel like he was a little all over the place with the comedy.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things was he was very nonchalant about a lot of it. Like, I feel like a lot of the things, and like I even pointed out, people behind us were laughing their asses off.
Yeah.
I'd chuckle a little bit. You're sitting there with no response whatsoever.
Deadpan during most of it.
But, you know,
yeah.
A lot of it was, you can definitely see the smart-ass Eddie Brock.
Yeah. And that's the comedic edge to the character that I liked. The smart ass, the guy who's not just gonna flinch in the face of controversy or something, you know, like that edgelord version of Eddie Brock. Edgelord is not the right term. I just thought about what I said, but the guy who's not afraid to push the boundaries, even if it means making a joke and stuff. So that was enjoyable, especially early in the film.
Well, and then it's like, you know, one of the scenes that we've seen in the trailers, after he, as Venom, confronts the guy pointing the gun at the store clerk, and he goes back to Eddie, and he's like, yeah, sorry, I just have a parasite. Have a good day.
Yeah, we saw this in the
That's
trailers,
a very good, nonchalant, like, smart aleck Eddie Brock.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also a lot of... I was trying to figure out what he was doing with his voice at certain points.
Yeah, it was
like, you know, it
was kind of Muppety.
Kind of
a little Muppety.
I wouldn't necessarily say Muppety, but it was just like he had a cold. Like it was almost like he lost his voice for a little bit, and he still wasn't like full force. He's like, you know, I've had this guy beside me this whole time. He did a lot of like mumbling and a lot of that, and it just kind of. I mean, if you got somebody, you just kind of talk on the song.
And this is what I mean by the bipolar thing. He'd do that, and then he'd go right into his own voice. And maybe you can argue it's like, oh, because he's got the Venom symbiote, but it all happens so fast, as many things in this film do. is that it's like it doesn't feel like a gradual progression. It feels like it's coming out of nowhere. Let's move on though. We'll talk about his ex-fiance, who I fucking hate. God, she is.
You don't find any of that out in the trailers. You don't find out she becomes his ex-fiance until it happens.
God, you don't really see her in the trailer.
No, like just barely.
Okay, hold on. I know how to fix. Moving on from there, though, we can. No, we can't really talk about this female character because she didn't really make an appearance in the trailer.
I mean, we can talk about her because we all know that Eddie Brock has a love interest.
Did we? Because I had no
Eddie
fucking
Brock
idea.
has kind of always had on and off girlfriends. And
yeah, but that's with comic book knowledge. As far as this film goes, these trailers didn't give me any indication that there was gonna be a female love interest. There's one more thing that the trailers hide, like the quality of the film.
Yeah.
No, I'm probably gonna cut that comment out. Because I really don't want to say any of that type of stuff until we get into spoilers. But so what I can say about this character, I hate her. Everything she does all throughout the film, hate her. She makes decisions on a fucking whim, illogically, the way no one would ever think about any situation. She's part of the reason things just seem to happen. Like, the pacing of this film is fucking off. And I just, oh God, I just don't want her to be there. I hate her. Let's talk about the villain of the film, though. Riot. I can't remember the doctor's name.
I can't either.
But Riot, a.k.a. big billionaire dude who's basically Elon Musk.
The founder of the Life
Foundation. He's Elon Musk. Like, there are a lot of political undertones
he
in
didn't
this film.
send a car into space. He sent a rocket into space, okay?
No, but they said specifically he sent 3 rockets. One came back and failed. That's exactly what fucking Elon Musk did when he was testing out the new propulsion systems on these. Yeah, 2 came down fine, 1 fucked up. And it only fucked up when it hit the platform. We're not getting into the whole political thing here, but I'm just saying, that doctor is Elon Musk.
So anyway,
furthering my theory that Elon Musk is a fucking supervillain. But moving on from there, talking about the character in the film, he's hard to peg. I
don't know. Like, he was pretty easy to peg as your typical supervillain.
He is a sociopath through and through.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, your textbook sociopath.
He's doing what he thinks are the right things for the right reasons. But what he's really doing are all of the wrong things for what he views like the good of everybody.
Yeah. Well, and therein lies my problem with his writing, because he says things so dissociative from the human condition, like he's trying to make things better for the symbiotes more than he is human. But anytime he talks about his goals, he's talking about humanity. And not in a blanket, like, trying to cover his true intentions way, but, like, that's his actual passion. And he just seems to have these flare-ups that contradict his actual motivations.
Which I think is why it's very fitting for the Riot symbiote to be with him.
Yeah, but I also don't think it's on purpose. I think it's just accidental bad writing.
Could be, and we even see that during a certain scene, where his anger is brought out with Riot.
Yeah, but let's talk a bit about Riot, because Riot is just Venom. They just are on different sides of their goals. Riot wants the symbiotes to come and
take over the planet.
Is this too much of a spoiler?
It could be, because I don't know if anyone knows anything about the synopsis of this. I don't think they actually put out a true synopsis for this movie.
They did.
It's like, hey, guys, Venom movie.
Boy.
You're going to watch it now because it's a Venom movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to know what the plot is. We don't even know what the plot is.
Come to think of it, I have had no fucking idea what the plot was this entire time, up until we actually saw the film.
Okay, yeah. All we knew is that it was a Venom movie. That's all we knew going into this. Holy shit.
Let's talk about the symbiote girl, the doctor.
Dr. Dora something or other?
Yeah, whatever her face is. She makes a prominent... she's pretty prominent in the trailers. And she will probably be one of the most forgettable things about the film, except for the whole symbiote thing, which they corrected in this film, because the whole film she says symbiote instead of symbiote.
Everyone says symbiote in the movie.
Yeah.
The scene where in the trailer she says symbiote, she says symbiote in the movie.
They buried that fucking mistake.
Yeah, they
quick.
did. The thing is, they buried that. There were some other things they probably should have changed up as well.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
Let's talk about plot without talking about the details of the plot, because that may constitute a spoiler. I'm not sure.
You know what? Just to cover our asses, there may be potential spoilers from here on out.
No.
I
I think we can get into spoilers without... Or I think we can get through this without any potential spoilers. So no, fuck that spoiler warning. Just your opinion on how cohesive was the plot? Do you feel like it was sensible? Like it was a driving force for the film, or do you feel
it really wasn't, because this movie starts and we don't really have much of a driving force for anything. Okay, so without saying anything, Eddie fucks up.
Eddie fucks something
up.
His life
crumbles.
Yeah.
And from there, we kind of just happen upon
happenstances. Yes, this whole film is built on happenstances.
But as all this is happening, there's no real plot. There's no real driving force for the movie. Even once the
symbiotes are the only one with a plot.
Right. And that, but, well, now... the main bad guy, the scientist, whatever the fuck his name is, he has a driving point. You know, he has the plot. Yeah, and he wants to do what he wants to do for humanity, which
services the plot of the symbiotes. Yeah,
and when all of that happens, Eddie and Venom come together. Then his driving point becomes getting
circumventing the villain's plot.
Right. And then things just take a rapid twist. Mm-hmm. It no longer becomes about that. And now here's this completely different plot for the last 25 minutes of the movie.
It pivots pretty hard there. Okay, anything else you want to talk about non-spoilers? Let's talk about the effects.
They weren't bad.
They weren't bad. They really were. Did you notice that maybe Riot looked a little better than Venom?
Well, I think the reason that he looks a little bit better is because of I want to say like the collar scheme. Mm-hmm. The black and white of Venom, the sinewy bits, all of that. There's only so much you can do there. Whereas Riot, he had that bluish silvery look with the black and then like the red kind of strewn in here and there. The way that Riot's head was laid out, it had that line down the middle. He had more detail.
Not just that, but when we see Riot up until the big fight in the film, which we saw some of in the trailers, it's not a spoiler. Like he feels like he's there, like he's a physical presence in the film. Whereas Venom, through 90% of this, like it is the uncanny valley. You feel like you're looking at CG,
and I think a part of that is because a lot of the, well, I can't say a lot. I'd say probably about half of the Venom action that we get comes from Eddie and the sinews coming out from Eddie.
And that's not to take anything away from it. One of the best things in this is some of the special effects. Like the way they played out the symbiote powers really good. That's one of the enjoyable things. And I know we've been shitting on this a little bit, so let's say a little bit of good without spoilers before we get into spoilers. Okay. I love the action in this, especially the fight scenes.
Yeah.
There is a car chase scene, which we see in the trailers, that was kind of boring to me.
It was too drawn out. Yeah. There was a lot of cool things that we saw the symbiote be able to do for Eddie without actually being Venom.
Oh, yeah. And some of the ways they use the symbiote
like
abilities.
The tendrils and all that coming out. You know.
That fight scene in his apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the guys come for him with the guns and stuff. That was so innovative. Like, the moves and stuff that happened in that scene were fantastic.
Tom Hardy's reactions through all this were great. Like, his facial expressions of surprise and everything were spot on.
And I'm not going to say any of the acting was really bad, per se.
And was bland.
Yeah.
She was about the only one that was kind of bland through this whole thing.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, though, nailed it. He's a great actor. Nobody's going into this saying the opposite, I think. But
so, I mean, as far as all that goes, the use and reaction of the symbiote was great. It was very, that kind of stuff happens with these symbiotes.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into spoilers here. Guys, this is your spoiler warning. We're going to give you a little speech here, and that means that you need to get the fuck out, because if you're still hearing me talk about spoilers, you're either woefully disobeying your own wishes, or you're dumb, or you don't care, or you saw the movie. One of those four things.
Ladies and gentlemen, from this point forward, there will be spoilers afoot.
God, you popped that pee so fucking hard. You popped that pee and it went a little silent.
It did.
Don't worry, guys.
Let me try that again.
Nope. You only get one. Guys, I ordered pop screens. We actually have some legitimate equipment coming up. You motherfucker. We have some legitimate equipment showing up. Should be here soon. So the next episode, we're actually going to have pop filters. So, yeah. You're not going to hear so much garbage from us, other than our dumb voices. All right, guys. So that was our whole spoiler warning. From here on out, you're fucked. So, whatever.
So, all right, what do you want to start first with spoilers? You know what? Let's just get right to the plot of everything.
Let's get to the fucking plot of everything.
The plot has no direction, no line.
Well, let me try and connect some dots here as best as I can. So we start out, we've got Tom Hardy, his fiance. They're all like lovey-dovey, blah, blah, blah. But Tom Hardy is this, take-no-shit reporter, and he's known for pushing his boundaries just to get, to the truth of the story because he doesn't want to be pushed around by the news cycle shit, blah, blah, blah. Fake news, all that. This is where some of the political undertones come in. And his fiance is a lawyer. And so he takes on would-be Elon Musk. And
which just so happens to be a client for the firm that his fiance works for.
Exactly. So he sees some stuff on her computer that gives him a little bit of material to go into this interview with not Elon Musk. NME, or NEM. We're going to call him Nem.
You know what?
He's a nemesis. Nope, I'm calling him Nem. That's what we're doing. So he goes into this interview with Nem, brings up this stuff, and ends up getting fired from his job. He gets his fiance fired for her job, which
spawns her to just completely drop him. Oh my
God, this fucking part drives me insane. Because here's the thing. They're having dinner, the night before or whatever, and she basically asked him to be good. This is important to his career. And he flat out says, fuck no. He's like, no, that's not going to happen. You know me. You know how I do. I'm not just going to let this guy, breeze through a nice interview.
Carlton Drake.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Nem. And she's like, okay. And then she bangs him. And that's it. She doesn't give him any fight on his standpoint. She seems to understand it. She seems to go well, that's just Eddie. And he goes and does his thing, and surprise, surprise, it does exactly what she was afraid of, but seemed to not be so afraid of when she was fucking him. And she totally calls everything off. She breaks it off. Like, she hates him. Like this was the
she
biggest...
goes from being in love with him to complete and total disdain for this man.
Like, he raped her mom on a pile of pictures of her. Like, that's the reaction I'm getting. Like, she had no fucking idea this was going to happen. Or was even a possibility. What
did you find? A quick side note.
We're going to be a little all over the place.
We are.
As we work through the plot.
We mentioned earlier there was a failed spacecraft landing. That was the one containing the symbiotes. Mm-hmm. And they went on to list and name
yes, this was like the first part.
That's the very beginning of the movie.
Very beginning of the movie. They bring back the symbiotes.
Well, one of them survives, and they call him Jameson. And it is, in fact, J. Jonah Jameson III.
Oh my god, what a fucking waste. Because here's the thing.
He didn't die.
Here's the thing that happened. Well, we don't know that. Here's the thing that happens, just to cycle it back. Before all that bullshit with Eddie and his fiancée, we open on space, and a spacecraft is coming back into Earth. It has a rough landing because something gets out of containment. Obviously, one of the symbiotes. Wait, which one got out of containment? Was it Riot?
Yeah, it was Riot.
Yeah, it was Riot. Riot gets out of containment, fucks up the landing, and they go to get it, and it's infected one of the astronauts,
which just happens to be J. Jonah Jameson III.
And then he rises up, and the symbiote switches to the paramedic. We don't know what happened from there, but it seems throughout the movie, it seems like the hosts of the symbiotes die.
Well, but the thing is, on the document that was emailed to Anne, it lists the names of the astronauts.
And he was not on there.
On there.
Fair enough.
And part of his transformation to was it Man-Wolf?
That's right. Yeah, you did say Man-Wolf in the theater and didn't think about the correlation.
It comes from one of his trips to space. So we could see that later on down the line if they keep this element in play.
They do have a Morbius film in the works.
They do.
Whoa. I think we just stumbled onto something. Okay.
So anyway, moving on from that,
they break up in the dumbest fucking way possible, and we jump ahead 6 months.
6 months. Now, okay,
this is good.
Here's the problem with this 6 month time span. Okay, typical things happen in San Francisco how you think they would after a breakup in 6 months. That's not what the problem is. The problem is when the Riot symbiote latches on to this paramedic, she starts walking. She finds her way to a village.
This is 6 months prior, not 6 months in the future.
This is before.
Yeah.
And she finds her way to a village, walks to this village.
What is it, a Vietnamese village?
I believe
Hong Kong. No, it was Hong Kong.
Something like that.
Because I remember the airport was Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in that marketplace, she starts eating food from one of the...
No, she starts eating a live eel.
Yeah. Definitely want to drive that point home.
Yeah.
She is infected by the Riot symbiote. Well, people get mad at her. She kills a lot of people. And then targets this old lady. And now Riot is in control of this elderly Vietnamese kid.
Who's holding herself up with a fucking cane.
But as soon as Riot takes control, she just stands upright and starts walking. And then, 6 months later, she's at an airport. How the fuck does it take 6 months to get to the airport?
Because, as we see in this film, the symbiotes read the minds of the host and stuff. And maybe you can argue, okay, the Riot symbiote didn't know enough from the paramedic or from the very short time it was in Jameson III. But if it spent 6 months in this elderly woman, and remember, these symbiotes kill most of their hosts because they're feeding off of them.
That's the other big driving point is, in another part of the movie we see days in Host when they're putting other symbiotes in human trials.
Yeah.
The longest one we saw was 4 days, and after on the 5th day or something, it killed the guy.
Yeah. Well, even Eddie Brock himself, they point him out as a perfect host. And even later, it gets revealed that Venom's feeding off of him. So if he's the perfect host and he's still getting killed by the symbiote, what the fuck? You know? So somehow this old lady walks for 6 months and then happens upon an airport, but knows enough to get on a plane or infect a little girl in the bathroom.
Here's the only way that I can justify this. And like we were talking earlier, we, as the people watching this movie, have to put a lot together for things to make sense. So the only thing I can think of is during this whole time, the only reason that Riot was able to survive and not eat this lady from the inside out was on the journey continuing to kill and eat other things and other people.
Like you said, we were talking about this early. This movie requires you, not... It maybe kind of nudges you, not gives you a few tools, but requires you to fill in the blanks for anything to make sense. And because it is not going to give you the little details. And it, almost like it holds itself in Avengers Infinity War regard, where that had 10 years of movies to build up to this moment and didn't have to hold your hand. Whereas this is the first movie in what is supposed to be its own franchise.
They probably should have held our hand a little bit more.
Just a little.
Put a little bit more into it. But the thing, and that's not... Here's another one of the issues is...
Are you jumping ahead of it? Can we get to this later when we're talking about the plot?
This directly goes into... As we said, Riot then... Okay, you see... In the airport, she comes up an escalator, spots a little girl. You know that she's like, okay, that will make a suitable host now. Mm-hmm. So the little girl goes into a bathroom, and the old lady follows in. You can assume what happened from there. Now, from there, this little girl gets on an airplane, seemingly by herself.
As far as we know.
Gets off of the airplane, seemingly by herself. Gets a taxi, seemingly by herself, and shows up to the Life Foundation by herself. Yeah,
and this leads us into the next part of the plot, because Eddie Brock's life has fallen apart. He's a bit of a drunk, a louse, and shit like that. Can't get a job anywhere. Although, he's, like, throwing $20 at homeless people. Like, you can't pay your fucking bills, but you got a 20 on you. I've been in can't play your bills bill. And
you're not going to give a 20.
Yeah, you're not dropping 20.
Paper.
Yeah, I don't care how good a heart you are. It's not that you don't want to give it to them. You don't have it on you. So Anyways, moving forward from that, he gets ambushed by Dr. Lady whatever.
Dr. Kurtz.
Dr.
Dora
Kurtz.
Kurtz.
Why do you know her so well?
Because I looked her name up.
But you knew it earlier, too.
Well, the only reason that I knew her name was Dora was because I'm like, you fucking Dora the Explorer in this movie.
I guess that is a good correlation there. Good numeric device, if you will. But
Pneumatic.
Pneumatic?
Pneumatic.
Really?
Numeric is numbers.
I've always heard it numeric device. Anyways, she ambushes him because all of these symbiote tests, which, by the way... again, we've jumped 6 months later, and they're doing shit that you, like, with test animals that should have been, like, day one shit.
Now, on the flip side of that, I can argue...
Maybe month one.
Well, because they're on rabbits at that point. So maybe they've worked their way through mice
6
and
months
rats.
to get to fucking rabbits.
You know, they could have spent
because
a month
it seems
or two
like
just studying the symbiote.
Well, they go from fucking rabbits to, it seems like in the same week, human trials.
No, it's not even the same week. After the rabbit thing, they say start human trials.
Yeah, probably the
right
next
then and
day.
there.
Yeah.
So, so arguably,
This
of what they discover with the rabbit is why they push forward so quick from there.
And another thing with Nem is that he is so recklessly pushing forward these advancements in the trials. You are not going to sell me that it took him 5 months to get from simple testing to rats to rabbits. Which, by the way, rabbits aren't the thing you test on. If you're wanting to get to human trials, you test on rats. I mean, fuck, I didn't even know pneumatic device, but I know that. Okay, come on. So
I mean, maybe the symbiotes were too big for rats.
I don't know. But she gets uneasy about the whole thing, killing all the test subjects and stuff. So she seeks him out and sneaks him into this building. Which brings me back to the little girl. It is so fucking easy to get into this, like, high security Life Foundation thing run by a supervillain, a very paranoid guy, a very protective guy.
I disagree.
He destroyed Eddie Brock's life because of, like, a half-assed, backed up mention in an interview that never went to print. Okay? You're telling me he's not going to spring for a few extra fucking security cameras?
No, listen. When she brought Eddie Brock in, he was laying down in her backseat, hidden.
Yeah.
They had to go through that gate. Then, any time when they went to go inside, she had to scan her hand. She had to scan her hand to open up the thing.
But
there were hand scanners everywhere. They have this stuff everywhere. That's why I want to know how this little girl got in. Because they have security measures. How did this little girl get through all these security measures? And then...
Well, now, here's how the little girl got in, but we never saw it. This is me filling in the fucking blanks for the movie. She killed guards and used their handprint to get in.
That's the only thing that could have happened.
How does this fucking alien know how this technology works when she's only been in, like, 2 Hong Kong people? She's been in a little girl. Like, how does it know?
Yeah.
How does it know to get into this fucking building? So there's
that. And then when she approaches him, he's just like, "Are you lost, little girl?"
Yeah.
I mean, almost word for word.
That is not your reaction. This little girl just snuck into your high security, fucking prison, basically.
I understand that they do tours because we saw.
Oh yeah, but this is the middle of the fucking night.
Right, it's the middle of the night. Now, if a little girl would have gotten lost during a tour, she still would have had a badge.
Yeah,
or something. She would have been accounted for. It would have been addressed before that point in the night.
Shittiest reaction, but we've gotten ahead of ourselves. She sneaks Eddie Brock into the Life Foundation again too easily. That's another problem with this film, is that things happen too easily. The breakup happened too easily. The fucking getting into Life Foundation happens too easily. And getting into Life Foundation, Eddie Brock is taking these photos and stuff. When he happens upon the homeless woman we mentioned that he gave $20, that he has obviously a small rapport, although it would have been nice to see more than just one interaction, but whatever.
Well, there was the moment where he walks by where she's normally at, and he looks concerned that she's not there. Because
I missed that. Was that when I went to the bathroom?
You may have went to the bathroom for that.
I'm not sure. I went to the bathroom after the car chase when he already has the Venom symbiote, which he gets from the homeless woman that we were just alluding to being locked up in the Life Foundation.
Because he goes to get a new... This is after they've started human testing.
Yeah.
He goes to get one of the
poor,
free papers.
Unfortunate people.
Yeah. He goes to get one of the newspapers, notices there's papers in there, and that she's not in her normal spot. Her stuff is there, but she's not, and he looks concerned.
Fuck. I'm already forgetting things in the movie because I had to have been in the theater for that point.
Yeah, you did.
I totally missed that. Or forgot about it, yeah. But anyways, he sees her, he recognizes her, she's calling for help from him, so he breaks her out of the cell with
and she attacks him.
Yeah, she attacks him. The symbiote jumps from her to him. This symbiote is Venom.
Right.
And so I think we have a little bit of a time jump because we never see him escape from the Life Foundation.
Yeah, we did.
No. No, there's no escape.
Where were you for this?
Wait a minute.
Because this was the whole, this was one of the great acting points for Eddie Brock, or for Tom Hardy. Because as he's escaping, as he's leaving, a guard spots him, he starts running, because he's, busting metal security doors down.
Oh, that's right. He kicks the door. Yeah.
He's running through the woods. He goes to jump over this fence. Or the first thing that we see, which I thought was really fucking cool, is he's coming down this exit way, and he jumps onto the wall to punch this guy. And when he jumps onto the wall, he cracks this concrete block wall when he jumps on it to punch this guy. And that was when you realize,
and again, the good acting here. He seems confused about the action, but he knows he has to go.
Well, the thing is you can tell that he's realizing he's not completely in control of himself.
Yeah.
Because he's surprised by his actions.
Yeah, what he's doing, and even the running through that hallway, it seemed automatic rather than
it's
a natural reaction.
Responsive. It's reflex almost. And when he kicks down that metal door, like I mentioned, he looks back at it. He's taken aback by the fact that he just did that.
Anyways, this leads us through a chase in the woods. He eventually escapes up a tree, and the next thing we see, he's coming back home. What is it? Oh, he's trying to get a hold of his
Dr.
ex.
Dora.
Yeah, he's trying to get a hold of Dr. Dora when these guys show up and this brings us into the first really cool action piece.
Yeah.
Because
now we've got some clips of this in
the trailer for sure. But the way they carry this out, there is this move where I think the tendril comes out of his back and he does this spin that wraps up the guy's arm and then he elbows him in the face and punches another guy. It's just very well choreographed.
It's well choreographed, very fluid.
Very fluid. Very, very fluid.
And there was another one where he grabs one of them, with tendrils out of his back, and does it flips him over into one of the guys that's about to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bails out a window and goes into another apartment, which this was kind of the first scene of, you can't really call it web slinging because it's not web slinging. He has never met Spider-Man.
I feel like this was the only web slinging
where he sends out a tendril, it grabs a hold of the railing on a balcony, and he comes through a window into someone's small living room gathering of 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
These guys are shooting in the window. It just shoots this shield out the window to block all the bullets. So, I mean, we see a lot of the useful abilities that the symbiote has to offer without even becoming the full suit.
And this leads us into that mostly boring car chase. All the interesting stuff in this car chase we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then the rest is all just fucking filler, and it's way too long.
One of the parts that I really did enjoy was as Eddie started to be okay, this is actually kind of cool. And they're coming to that, he's dead end, and then the voice for Venom is not for us, and reaches forward and grabs a hold of this railing that's about to end the road, and just pulls the motorcycle over it, and the cars kind of bust through it. They're going down that hill.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
If nobody knew, this does take place in San Francisco. There's a lot of hills. Yeah. So a lot of scenes built for that. Because as you pointed out to me, which I don't believe I was aware of, and I've even read this comic, but this film is largely based off of Lethal Protector, which takes place in San Francisco.
Yeah.
After that, what does happen after that? Because I went to the bathroom as soon as the car chase scene was over.
At the end of that, of the chase and everything, is when we finally get the first image of Venom as... full Venom. He looks like he's about to eat the one guy.
Yeah,
Someone
we saw
shoots
that.
him, and he turns around, bites that guy's head off, and then just starts leaping away.
We saw most of that in the trailer.
The only thing
spleen, heart, lungs, all that, pancreas, all that. Yeah, which again you pointed out straight out of the Lethal Protector.
No, that was straight out of Amazing Spider-Man 374.
Yes.
Like word for word quote.
Yeah.
So a lot of great elements actually pulled from the comics when it comes to
cool
Venom.
little nod.
So, going through the movie, at that point, the main driving force for probably the next half hour, 45 minutes is, well, not even that long. I'd say maybe half hour.
Yeah.
The plot driving force is Nim wants the symbiote back.
Yeah.
He finds out that it's Eddie Brock that has it because, he makes Dora tell him.
Yeah, he
and
corners
he kills her
and
with the symbiote. And all that, which, now, when all of this happens, there are 4 symbiotes.
Yeah.
There's yellow, blue.
Yeah.
There's Riot, and then there's Venom.
And we have seen previously during the testings that the symbiotes can't survive without a host. And I guess...
in an oxygen-rich environment.
Yeah.
Well, the first one that we see, quote-unquote, dead is the yellow one. Because the host died, and then the symbiote...
one of the photos in which Eddie takes when he infiltrates the Life Foundation.
So, and then that inadvertently happens with the blue one, because he unleashes that one on Dora, it ends up killing her, and then the symbiote dies because no one was around when it happened.
Right.
Which sets him to wanting to keep Eddie Brock alive to get the symbiote and all this because of the perfect host. Shortly thereafter, the Riot ends up showing up and bonding with him, which that appears to be
right after he kills Dora, that's when the little girl shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... and then that appears to be another, perfect bond.
Yeah.
Because, we see a lot of the same elements of and I love how they did that with, when they're talking to the symbiote, how the head comes around and is having a conversation with them. That's straight from the comics.
And throughout these trials and us learning more about Nim and stuff, we find out that his motivation is to save the human race from themselves because apparently, and they even say this at one point, we're like a decade away.
A generation is how they put it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like they said a decade at one point, but that could just be one of the more forgettable parts of the movie. Anyways, we are so fucking close to being an uninhabitable planet. And so he's wanting to save us from ourselves or whatever. But they never explain how or exactly why. It's just we're going to kill ourselves. Somehow.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
One of the things they mention is overpopulation and they mentioned a couple of things. Things that we all know.
They pin it on the obvious culprits and shit and stuff. But stuff that's not a generation away, guys. Like a good 200 years away from killing us. Yeah.
Unless the permafrost melts, and then we're fucked. But anyway, that'll take decades as well. So moving on. So
now this is where everything starts to get fast. Are you starting to get fuzzy on the chain of events? Because I am.
A little bit, but at the same time, it's it picks up so fucking quick from there.
Yeah.
Because one of the next things we see is Eddie's trying to give his phone to the network.
Yeah, the network that fired him.
And then we get that great fight scene in the lobby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
To me, that's one of the most fun scenes in the movie. Because there's a lot of action. It's a very, there's, I'd wager probably 30 plus armed guards or
something like that,
personnel that pop up in this lobby when he's leaving the building, and they throw smoke grenades, and he catches them and busts them.
Oh yes,
and they start trying to shoot and find and everything, and he's just taking them out under cover of this smoke, and then. But they kind of start gaining the upper hand because they start using flashbangs on him.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you're not aware, symbiotes are very sensitive to fire and sound.
So, using a flashbang is going to affect him. So, at that point, he's got a lot of them taken out, and he kind of makes an escape. No, he takes the rest of them out, and that's when Anne shows up. And she's just like, get in the car, we're going to the hospital now. And then all of a sudden...
did you just fucking see what happened? Lady, there's no hospital that can help this dude.
Yeah. So, that whole series of events happens. That's when, she blasts the MRI machine to separate Eddie and the symbiote when they find out that he is slowly eating Eddie.
Yeah.
And Eddie they gets do caught by the guards.
Yeah, and then the symbiote...
He goes through a vent.
He goes through a vent, but we never see him attached to Anne. She just shows up later.
Well, okay, here's how that happened. He comes out of a vent and attaches to the dog.
That's right. Oh my god!
Dog's walking through the hospital.
Stupid and the dog we see one time earlier in the film. That's a little annoying
because it's barking at Eddie because of the symbiote.
Because the symbiote is
stupid. He has taken over this dog, walks through the hospital, finds Anne. And you see Anne making eye contact with this dog, and then the dog's eyes do the symbiote thing.
So here's what I'm thinking. Because Anne's not just going to take on that symbiote right in the middle of the hospital. Does she walk the dog outside to an alley, and now that dog is just wandering the streets of San Francisco?
I don't know. There again, that's another one of those, that's a deleted scene that I would like to see.
Yeah, we don't see when the symbiote attaches to her. We just later because how does Eddie Brock escape? Because he
he doesn't escape. Because he doesn't have the symbiote. Riot and the guy, they're like, we have no use for you, and they tell the guy to take care of him. So they take him out to the woods. That's right.
They take him out to the woods. You have a whole facility there full of dead people that you've killed. You obviously have a way of dealing with these bodies. Why are you walking this dude out to the middle? You could have killed him right there in the chair he was sitting in.
Yeah. But they walk him out to the woods, and then that's where she shows up wearing the symbiote, which I thought was...
It cool looked good to see a female symbiote, but it was still dumb because it brings her in and he gets the suit back and now shit's in full force. Even though they just had it seems like Eddie got way over the symbiote trying to kill him thing pretty fucking quickly. He just automatically accepts the symbiote back right away.
Well, that wasn't necessarily one of those he automatically accepts it back. It's that they kissed, and the symbiote just went back to him.
Yeah. There's this whole makeout scene with Tom Hardy and a female symbiote as the symbiote goes from her to him. It's really weird.
And they have a little argument in the woods about how she needs to just stay away.
Maybe it's a little hot. I don't know.
So from there, the rest of the driving point of the movie is Riot wants to bring back the symbiotes.
Because there are millions of them on this asteroid that they had brought those 4 samples back from.
Yeah. So they want to bring them back to basically take over planet Earth.
And Venom has more or less
because
become accustomed and likes Eddie and he likes Anne and he wants to now protect the human race. Again,
he has changed his mind so quickly.
A real fucking pivot here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it seems to happen pretty
straight
fast.
Up 180 compared to 45 minutes earlier.
Maybe even less than that. Definitely less than that.
So, they decide, you know what? They have a pretty much 0 chance of stopping Riot, but they're going to do it anyway. Yeah. Because Riot has decided
quote,
to send...
he's got shit you've never seen. That's what Venom says to Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And being a PG-13 movie, they can only say fuck one time. And I feel like they used it well.
They used it appropriately. I'll give them that.
Venom and Eddie, they're having a small conversation real quick about stopping Riot. He's
like,
like,
what are their
chances?
Yeah.
Pretty much zero.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? This guy's got shit you've never even seen. And he's like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
That was completely Eddie Brock right
Long story short, though, they're on the launch pad. We get probably the best. I don't know about the best, but a good fight scene where we could and we had talked about this during the last trailer. I was afraid that there was going to be too much weird tendril mixture type shit. And they draw the fight out gradually. It starts as it's kind of a fist fight.
Going at it,
then some of the powers come into play, and then before you know it, it's just broken up chaos before Riot ingests Venom and Eddie Brock. Venom and Eddie Brock get away. They end up fucking up the ship and blowing up Riot and them. And boom, day is saved.
Venom saves Eddie Brock by sacrificing himself to the fire.
Quote unquote sacrifices himself. Yeah. Which we find out.
He's like, goodbye, Eddie.
Again, we have this whole sacrificial scene, and then we see Eddie is talking to Anne on a stoop, and then during the progression of the scene, we find out that Venom is still with him. We don't know how Venom survived. We don't know when they met back up, but Venom survived. Then we get our Stan Lee cameo, which is the only tie that could potentially put this in the MCU, because he directly recognizes that there's two personalities in that body, which could mean that this is still Stan Lee the Watcher. But then that ends. We have a conversation about between Eddie and the Venom, and about who he can and cannot hurt, and maybe potentially eat.
Possibly,
maybe. Then
I like how they have that conversation, and then when he goes into this convenience store and encounters the guy from earlier in the movie, he confronts him. We get that other scene from the trailer where he calls him.
They're walking in broad daylight, and then they're like, Venom's like, I'm hungry, and he's like, I know a place, and they walk over to this place, and then when he leaves that place, it's pitch black dark. Anyways, that's where we get the fucking turd in the wind scene, and if you want to see it, just watch the trailer. It's in there. But
just up and decides, you know what, you can eat this guy, it's fine.
Yeah, we and that's our film. We get two end credit scene. The mid credit scene, we see that Eddie Brock has gone to interview Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, obviously setting up the next film. We'll see if we get there.
Right.
But which was alright. The hair was ridiculous.
It was, but like I pointed out, the hair was actually one of the very comic accurate things in the movie.
But no, here's the thing about being comic accurate. Just because you've got red, somewhat curly hair on the character doesn't mean it's comic accurate, because guess what? The hair looks good on the character in the comic. It looks like a goofy fucking wig in the movie. So the only way for it to be truly comic accurate is if I believe that's his fucking hair. I feel like he's going to pull a Gene Hackman Superman the movie, and at the very end of the next film, he's going to pull off the red hair, and he's actually been bald this whole time. But then we move on to our end credit scene, which is not tied into the Venom movie at all. It is an extended scene for Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, which I don't want to talk about.
I don't either.
Let's not spoil it.
Don't say anything about
it. Really great scene, though. Really cool. If you want to see it, go see Venom, which, as much as we've shit on it, and I don't even know if I'm going to buy this one. I really don't. If it's cheap, like $5 is as much more as I'll commit to this film.
I'd say within 6 months of it coming out, you'll probably be able to get the Blu-ray for maybe $10.
I don't even want the Blu-ray. Fuck it, I'll just buy it on DVD.
What I want is an extended cut. I want some of
but that's bullshit. See, here's the thing. That shit should already be in the movie. Fuck you. It should already be in the movie. stop doing the extended cut bullshit, because that should have been the movie I paid to go see in theaters.
Yeah.
That may have been the... No, it wouldn't have been. There's still way too much bullshit in this. But yeah, I would say see it, because it is something to be seen. If the next movie is actually really great, you're going to regret not having seen this one. I don't know. Check it out, but go see a matinee, because that's what we saw. We saved some money there. I am not upset that I spent the money on it, and I actually paid you back for covering me on some stuff. And so I had to give you that money one way or another. So all around, everything I spent on this movie, not upset about it. I'm just like, God, they could have done better.
They could have.
Really
I agree with that. But at the same time, you know, this is the Venom movie we have, and it still needs to be supported.
No.
Better.
No. See, that cannot be an acceptable thing anymore. If this were in the day and age of where this shit was like water in the desert, I'd agree with you. But we're in
a superhero rich.
Yeah, we are in a vibrant time of superhero content, not just movies, but TV shows and video games and everything. There is a standard now. You have to live up to a certain code, and you can't just make this shit the way that they used to.
Excluding Spider-Man: Homecoming, I'd say this lives up to Sony standards.
Yeah, fair enough. So, what are you rating this movie, Odle? Out of 10?
I think I'm still going to sit. I am happy to sit at a 7.
I'm wildly surprised at your 7, because you have given better movies 7s before on this podcast. You can't remember them, can you? I see you sitting there trying to go through the Rolodex. I'm giving this thing like a 4.5. Maybe 5.
See, here's my thing is I translate the 10 into a 5, and I always translate a 5. I don't
understand whatever you just said.
You know what?
When the only thing I can enjoy is the fact that Tom Hardy is a good actor, which I knew before this, and the fight scenes, like, you pushing for the 5. Like, please don't get on my nerves anymore, because I'll drop you down to a 3.54. I don't care. Like, really. It's got, like, fucking pixie sticks for foundational material. Okay, guys. I think that's probably going to do it for us on this one. Like this episode if you liked it. Subscribe if you loved it. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that bell below if you want to know when the newest videos go up. Comment your thoughts on any of today's stories. If you saw Venom, let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And then also, I would love it if we got some commentary going on the Phonebooth news. If there was anything in Phonebooth news that you want to talk about, I will respond to your comments. I cannot say that Alpha Spectre will. I really wish I could get these guys to do that more, but...
I mean, I get the notifications, and I always see the comments that come up. It's just...
You actively...
I don't have anything to really respond.
Actively choose not to talk to people. That's fine.
Most of the time, if I'm going to make a comment, it's going to be something contradicting what someone else has just said.
Right. And of course, guys, please share this episode on social media. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
And cue that pretty much
outro music.
Oh, disappointing.